Here we are in the Creede, Colorado area at the end of August, with light rain all day negating any outdoor activities or photography. It appears that we escaped the heat and humidity of Arkansas for daily rain and muddy roads. This is the fourth and final video capturing a summer trip to New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado. This episode includes more live theater, a full day in Lake City, hiking, and a drive to the Rio Grande Reservoir. Late Friday evening, we attended an improv comedy show in Creede, part of the Creede Repertory Theater's summer program. It was only so-so. After a late start Saturday morning, we drove the Silver Thread Scenic Byway west to Lake City, stopping on the way to photograph some interesting landscapes. Among the landscapes was the Slumgullion Earth Flow National Natural Landmark. It is a rare example of an earth flow called mass wasting, was and is a slow-moving landslide. About 700 years ago, an area of Mesa Seco, composed of partially decomposed volcanic rock, slid down the mountain and blocked the lake fork of the Gunnison River, creating Lake San Cristobal. A second earth flow has been moving continuously for about 300 years over older, stable rock. It moves at a rate of about 23 feet per year. Arriving in Lake City just after lunch, we stopped by the Southern Vittles restaurant where we had a delicious lunch last week. I had catfish and Kay had chicken strips. The catfish was not edible, too much dark flesh giving the fillet a bad taste. Kay's chicken strips were really good. After lunch, Kay witnessed a shooting. Actually, it was a reenactment of an Old West gunfight. And then we wandered through the staging grounds, Lake City's town park, for the finish of the Lake City Alpine 50. The Lake City Alpine 50 is an epic 50-mile alpine endurance bike race involving around 6,000 feet of climbing. The race includes cycling over both the 12,640-foot Cinnamon Pass and the 12,800-foot Engineer Pass before making a nearly 19-mile fast descent along Henson Creek and then back to Lake City to finish the race. The Lake City National Historic District covers about 142 acres of land in more than 34 blocks and additions, making it one of the largest historic districts in Colorado. It is also one of the oldest and best preserved historic districts in the state. The historic district contains commercial and residential buildings of various sizes and styles. Many commercial structures were built of wood with front-facing gable and false front facade. There are also a few masonry buildings located on the Hugh, Bank, and Finley blocks. Residences include chinked log pioneer cabins, simple miners' cottages, and the Queen Anne-style homes of merchants and mine owners. Most homes have front porches and decorative features. Tall cottonwoods by early Lake City citizens are carefully tended today. Fences, boardwalks, and outbuildings are also features of the district. After a busy day, we returned to the cabin to rest before attending a really good performance of Steel Magnolias. To top things off, the very first producer of the very first play of Steel Magnolias, Pamela Berlin, talked briefly before the performance, including a discussion of the play's early history. She is now a part-time resident of Creede and has a long history with the Creede Repertory Theater. Today, Sunday, marks another week. This morning we traveled south to South Fork, then west to near Wolf Creek Pass. The target destination was the Big Meadows Reservoir Trail. The trail is a 2.8-mile loop trail around the Alpine Reservoir. This trail had it all, with beautiful lake views, wetlands, wildflowers, wild berries, colorful mushrooms, beaver ponds, and butterflies. There were a few downed trees crossing the trail, but that added to its charm. About a half mile from the end, we got caught in a thunderstorm and light rain, and of course we didn't bring rain jackets. It rained hard on the way back to the cabin, with hail completely covering the ground in the Creede area. At the cabin, we doctored sore knees and rested weary bodies. Kay drove into Creed and picked up a couple small pizzas, which we enjoyed while watching our favorite YouTube videos. Kay's aching knee kept her from sleeping soundly last night, but I slept great. We were up relatively early, read emails in the paper, and viewed a bit of social media. Today was our last pickleball day in Creed. There were almost 20 people signed up to play, including several newcomers. We played off and on for almost 3 hours before calling it quits. We took home a couple of senior meals from the Creed Recreation Center, also known as the Virginia Christensen Multi-Use Facility, the same place where we play pickleball. The senior meals consist of a meat, 2 vegetables, cost $3 each, and are quite good. The rest of the day was spent quietly enjoying the sunshine and cool temperatures. Another day has come, and we spent this, our very last day, in completing the remaining items on the things to do list. After partially filling up with gasoline, our first stop was the clay mine just west of Creed. The Marshall Mine is a bentonite mine and has a brief but interesting history as a gold and silver mine during the Creed Gold Rush. There were no significant reports of gold and silver from the mine at the time. After a few photographs of the clay mine, the drive took us west to the Rio Grande Reservoir Road, also known as Forest Service Road 520. The road leads from the Silver Thread Scenic Byway, Colorado State Highway 149, toward Stony Pass. The first 19 miles of it are accessible by 2-wheel drive vehicles. Beyond that, a 4-wheel drive vehicle is needed to take the rest of the road through Timber Hill, over Stony Pass, and down into Silverton. After many potholes, rutted lanes, and more than a few washboarded areas, we passed Road Canyon Reservoir. Actually, 2 reservoirs, one upstream of the other. The Road Canyon Reservoir was built at 9,725 feet in elevation, damming the Rio Grande River. It is part of a 3-lake system, along with the Rio Grande Reservoir, that was constructed to provide the San Luis Valley with water for irrigation. Drive continued on the Rio Grande Reservoir Road to the Rio Grande Reservoir. Built between 1910 and 1914 by the San Luis Valley Irrigation District, Rio Grande Dam is an earth and rock-filled dam 111 feet high and 550 feet long. Long and narrow, the Rio Grande Reservoir is the 3rd highest major reservoir in Colorado at an elevation of 9,400 feet and contains 51,110 acre-feet of water. The next morning, Creed, Colorado was in our rearview mirror by 8 o'clock. A brief stop was made in Alamosa for a quick car wash to remove the dust and dried mud from the Creed roads. Another stop was made further east for gasoline, and after a 4-hour drive, we arrived at Capulin National Monument. Capulin Volcano National Monument is an extinct volcano in northeastern New Mexico, about 25 miles southeast of Raton. It was established in 1916 as Capulin Mountain National Monument. Its boundary changed in 1962, and it was renamed in 1987. The monument contains the cinder cone of Capulin Mountain. The volcano became active about 62,000 years ago and last erupted some 56,000 years ago. The symmetrical cylinder cone reaches an elevation of 8,182 feet and rises more than 1,300 feet above the surrounding grass-covered plains. Its base is surrounded by lava flows. The volcano's rim is accessible by a spiral road, and there are hiking trails inside the rim. From there, we drove generally east to Shawnee, Oklahoma, where we overnighted. We were both tired and slept well. On Thursday, we finished the drive home, arriving near noon. The car was unloaded, we unpacked, and I washed and semi-detailed the car while Kay rearranged and watered the outside plants. All's well, and we're glad to be home. Our break from the hot, humid weather of Arkansas took us to both the desert and the mountains. It seems as though we swapped hot, humid weather for daily rain. This is the 4th and final video of the summer trip to the desert and mountains. The episode includes more live theater, a full day in Lake City, hiking, and a drive to the Rio Grande Reservoir. It concludes a rewind of our trip to New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado. Stay tuned next week for a new exciting series featuring Costa Rica. Thank you for watching. Prayers for a great week. Goodbye for now, and connect with us again next week.